Home sweet home. Finally back to the way things should be. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. And why are things so snappy today? Well, I've got my laptop back. It's here in front of me. It's all set up. Feels quite new. Still figuring out where half the stuff is. And also, it was quite liberating cleaning this bad boy and not installing half the things that I don't even need. Also realizing that I've been paying way too much for software. Some of the software never used. So it was a good opportunity, like I mentioned yesterday, to just look at certain things. And in fact, I also made a list of things that I need to replace because there's certain pieces of software, like some of my project management stuff and planning, that I've been paying way too much for the software and not using it. So I need an alternative, something perhaps a little bit more affordable, a little bit more flexible to my needs. So, boom, not going to be supporting people too much if I'm not using their wares. So you have to be assertive like that, you know. So what is today? Today is Tuesday. Had a busy day, meeting a lot of people and interesting people. So this morning, people from Malaysia, Italy, for a small little learning kind of mastermind thing that I'm working on. So that is playing out. Way overpromised what I'm going to be doing with those folks. So hopefully we'll be able to pull something out before Tuesday. I don't know how I work myself into these situations. I get super creative about and excited about ideas and then end up going shit, when I'm going to execute half these ideas. But when it's an exciting idea and it could lead to something else, and I get kind of carried away, which is not always a good thing because I'm still a dad and a husband here, you know. And then also had a good session talking to someone about virtual events, and it's liberating because they want me to drop into a brainstorm because they feel like they're in a little bit of a rut and they want this guy with the new beanie, by the way, I think it's the beanie, to drop into a session. But the thing is, the reason I'm mentioning this is not because I think I'm Mr. Legend. I think that what happens to a lot of people, and especially now that we are working remotely and we're sitting and we kind of get into a rut, and I think that's a challenge we all have, is we kind of get into the flow. And sometimes it's not really a flow because if you're in flow, you are in this happy creative space. I think you're in a rut. You get stuck in certain paradigms and it's difficult to see out of them. And in fact, I do that too. I'm living the same reality over and over. You've been seeing that because all my visits to all kinds of interesting Polish places have kind of fizzled away. And, we spent time together here in my little virtual office every day. But what is interesting and what I think is valuable as a learning today is that if you introduce something new into the conversation, so for example, for this client / friend / colleague, she's probably going to invite me into a meeting, or we said we will do a kind of ideation session together where we'll share ideas, thoughts and approaches. And I guarantee you, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen there, is that we're going to sit together and then boom, they're going to come up with some really cool ideas. And they're probably going to go think one or two things. Thanks, Vanna. You really helped us. You're a legend. Or they're going to go why do we need this dude in the meeting? We came up with the ideas ourselves. And that's probably the last mentioned one is probably the one I'm shooting for, because ultimately, and I said it to her today, is usually all you need is you have the creativity, and you listening to this, you are creative. You have it. It's just that your brain needs to make those new connections, and you get those by taking a walk outside, jumping on a longboard, and not killing yourself, or just having a conversation with someone you haven't spoken to in a while. So don't underestimate those little investments in time to just connect with someone else or just get a different perspective. Even if you don't agree with it, just shake things up a little bit, because that kind of doldrum of doing the same thing over and over again, so dangerous, man. And I step in it too. So luckily, I get to speak to these different people, and sometimes I get annoyed because I don't get as much done in a day because I'm sitting in meetings. But then when I find the gap, I feel much more creative. especially if you mix in a bit of exercise, which I have not done today because I'm tired. I got to bed 1 o'clock last night after sorting out this laptop. So lesson learned there. Before I blow this one up again, heaven forbid, I need to make some clone or backup of this laptop. And I'm actually aiming to do that to see if I can't just make a clone of this thing. And if something goes wrong, I can just pop over to the next one. But let's let something not go wrong, please. Let's just get along. Let's work together. So what else can I tell you? Not much. Not much. We're busy. Francie is having a good time. And tomorrow his aunt is coming. And for some reason, he's like super stoked and excited about his aunt coming to visit him because they get to play a lot. So, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't know this, is that she's also tapering down her visitations. She's doing the right thing. She's trying to social distance. And I also think that she's retired, but also I think she's getting to a space now where she's going like, do I really need to chase a little 4-year-old around? I just want to sit down and peer out the window and think about Polish things. So I think she's going to move on at some stage. She's indicated to us. So we're going to have to send our little one to a kindergarten or somewhere. And I think he'll like it in the end because I think he's craving that social interaction. But of course, we have to see what's going on. But that is it. That is my spiel for today. I still have 1 or 2 meetings. The last meeting is a social call to catch up with my friend in America to see what they're up to and all the craziness that is going on in that world, and just regroup around that and get inspired again for the next adventure that awaits us. So I'll leave it there. And like if you have something to share. Give me something to talk about. Don't just be a silent listener. If you want to be silent, it's okay. Don't worry. Cool. But drop me a note if you find this at all useful or useless. That's also fine. But as always, no matter what happens, thanks for listening.